to the William Mattar Thursday Night Lights, live on My TV Buffalo, presented by Stellar Roofing.
Coming to you live from Cheektowaga, it's another edition of the Law Office of William Mattar's Thursday Night Lights, presented by Stellar Roofing. Tonight it's a big Section 6 Class B2 matchup as the Lackawanna Steelers visit the Maryvale Flyers. And hi everyone, welcome in to our broadcast booth along with the coach, Scott Pilkey. I am Joe Kraus. Thanks for making this part of your Thursday evening. And Scott, this is a long historic rivalry, but taking a look at the present, Lackawanna trying to keep in the running here in the postseason. Maryvale trying to play a little spoiler here.
Yeah, no, Lackawanna has been playing great football, losing games very close, and this is where, in spite of injury, we're hoping that Maryvale can put up a good show tonight.
And let's take a look now at our players for tonight's contest. We'll start off, Scott, with the quarterback, Michael Moore of the Lackawanna Steelers. He threw 4 touchdowns last week, over 800 yards passing and running, being the big engine here for the Lackawanna Steelers. But he'll have a tough task here against the Maryvale defense as the Flyers will look and lean on their top player on the defensive side of the ball, Jeremiah Mendez, the linebacker, with nearly 40 tackles, including 13 tackles for loss, a team-high 3 sacks as well, a big force for this Maryvale defense. And now, Scott, let's take a look here at our keys to the game presented by Stellar Roofing, the best at what we do.
Well, Lackawanna has to stay motivated and pressure the QB. On the other side with Maryvale, they have to stop the run and sustain drives tonight.
And so we'll find out which of those keys will come true. It is Maryvale taking on Lackawanna. It's all coming up next on the Law Office of William Mattar's Thursday Night Lights, presented by Stellar Roofing. And welcome back to Maryvale High School here in Cheektowaga, New York. This week, Section 6 football lost one of its own. Coach Jason Beckman, the varsity football and varsity bowling coach at Amherst Central, tragically passed away on Monday. Coach Beckman was not only a dedicated coach, but also a mentor, leader, and friend to countless students and families. His passion for his players and love for the game made a lasting impact on the Amherst community and beyond. Our continued thoughts and prayers go out to Jason's family, friends, and students as they cope with this difficult loss. And welcome back to Cheektowaga, New York. Get ready for a kickoff between the Lackawanna Steelers and the Maryvale Flyers. Joe Kraus, Scott Pilkey, the entire crew with you tonight on My TV Buffalo. We'll introduce the starting coaches later on in our broadcast as we are ready to rock and roll on a windy and cold night here in Cheektowaga. The opening kick tracked down and bobbled by the Maryvale Flyers at the 25-yard line. And that, Scott Pilkey, is where Maryvale is going to set up shop. We saw there was a little bit of heat in the opening, but we talked about it. It's a rivalry, and late in the season, it's a lot of excitement here in this one.
Well, we're going to see a really good two-quarterback system here tonight for Maryvale, and a very big and dominant defensive front by Lackawanna. They are very stingy as a defense, so this is going to be a big challenge for Maryvale. But at 2-3, they're trying to be the spoiler tonight, and let's see how this game kicks off.
Carter Woods under center. He's gotten the majority of the reps for Nick Todaro's offense this season. He is in the shotgun with one man in the backfield. The motion man, Marcellus Coleman, who gets the handoff, trying to go to the outside. The ball is loose in the backfield at about the 20-yard line. Maryvale able to recover, and that's how our game starts off tonight.
Yeah, well, you've got so much size on the inside, and this is a very young offensive line up front, consisting of 2 sophomores and 3 juniors for Maryvale.
And let's take a look at the Maryvale offense presented by the law office of William Attar. You just touched on it, Scott. A very youthful offensive line to protect Carter Woods. Jeremiah Mendez at tight end as well.
Yeah, these are very good. They've got very good skill positions, and their 2 quarterbacks give a nice little 1-2 punch for their offense this season.
This will bring up 2nd and 16 after the loss. Flyers go to the ground game again. And able to get to the line of scrimmage. A big heads-up tackle from DeAndre Gatz, number 7 of Lackawanna. It's going to be 3rd and long here.
Well, you're looking at that number 55 there. He is an absolute force. Kurt Stevens in the middle, sitting at 6 feet, 305 pounds. He is a very dominant player. You'll see a lot of him tonight.
Here is the Lackawanna defense, as Scott just mentioned. A lot of experience and size on this defense, especially for the Steelers, as they'll now try to get Maryvale off the field quickly. This will bring up 3rd and 16. Cool night, 49 degrees here in Buffalo. A feel of 35 as Flyers go to the ground. The ball is loose again in the open field. Lackawanna able to pounce on it, waiting for the official call, and it is a fumble recovery for the Lackawanna defense.
Well, Lackawanna has been running a traditional 4-3 most of the season. They come out in a 3-4 front today. You're going to see the double team on the push at number 55. Actually, the hole was opened up very nicely. Great speed from the linebackers coming up, knocking the ball out, and getting on the football to turn the ball over. Lackawanna is on offense.
7th forced fumble and 3rd fumble recovery of the season for Lackawanna as the Seam Dolly, they call him Simo in the locker room, able to make the big-time stop now in his senior campaign with the Steelers. As Lackawanna now on the field, 1st and 10 on the Maryvale 22-yard line. Lackawanna in the power I formation. And before we get the first snap, we have our flag.
False start, offense number 59. 5-yard penalty.
That's what we talk about with Lackawanna, is to stay focused and, not shoot themselves in the foot with penalties or a lack of concentration. And it's amazing. They get a turnover like that, line up, and you don't want to start your opening drive at 1st and 15. But they're a very explosive program. Let's see what we do here on the first down again.
There's your Lackawanna offense tonight as the Steelers go to the ground here on 1st and 15, getting a short carry. And it appears that quarterback tonight here, Scott. Number 19, Adrian Garcia, is the quarterback, not number 0, Michael Moore, as we were informed earlier in the week. But the sophomore, Garcia, now taking the snaps here, as this will bring up a 2nd and 10 opportunity for the Steelers, knocking on the door.
Well, that's going to make the run game even that much more important for Lackawanna with a young quarterback underneath. They must have some great faith, as you see here. Nice job by Maryvale breaking down and keeping another short gain. That makes it 3rd and 10, and this is what they need. They need to be tough up front. They're quick, and they're getting into the gaps where the larger size of the offensive line of Lackawanna should theoretically be able to push them and drive them, because of the amount of they've been able to run. Lackawanna has been able to, a good force in the air and on the ground.
So Adrian Garcia, only 3 pass attempts this season, a 4-yard completion early in the season. It's now 3rd and 9. Garcia in the shotgun from the 21-yard line. A quick handoff, and Maryvale able to read this run from Kai Scott like a buck, as you see a host of Maryvale defenders. It's going to bring up 4th down here, Scott.
Well, just think of the equalizer that we're talking about right now. Literally, without Michael Moore in there, who is our person that we are, the person to watch tonight, you're losing 800 yards of total offense, 12 touchdowns, and 10 by pass. This is a big thing for Cheektowaga. We're in Cheektowaga, Maryvale. If Maryvale can hold here, this is a great opportunity for them to get that second drive opportunity.
And that was the starting defense for Maryvale, presented by the law office of William Attar. It's a low snap. Garcia able to pounce on it back on the 39-yard line. And a couple of big names from that Maryvale defense that we'll keep an eye on tonight, Scott. Jeremiah Mendez, our player to watch, and also Jack Barrett, 2 forced fumbles and 3 fumble recoveries on the season. We'll set aside for a short break and come right back with more of the law office of William Attar's Thursday Night Lights, presented by Stellar Roofing. And welcome back to Cheektowaga, our food sponsor tonight, the Cheesy Chick, located on 5385 Main Street. Call 716-817-9559 or visit their website, thecheesychickbuffalo.com. So, Lackawanna was able to force a fumble, but then a low snap on 4th down resulted in a turnover on down. So both teams, the opening drives don't go the way that they're hoping for. And now Scott, Maryvale back on the field, 1st and 10 on its own 39.
Well, what a great stand by the defense. Turning the ball over in your first series down in your own red zone and to hold fast. Great job by that defense.
Double counter run. Connor Finnegan makes his way upfield and brought down. Maybe got a yard if he was lucky. He is pushed back hard by a pair of Lackawanna defenders. In on the action, once again, Kurt Stevens Jr. And the official down marker, Finnegan able to get a gain of 1, so 2nd and 9 coming up.
Yeah, we're looking at the 3-4 front. They're giving a cover 2 deep, ensuring that nothing gets behind them, but you have a tendency to think that with the 2-quarterback system that they have here, that you're going to have a lot of these little gadget plays like they did just the previous one.
QB keeper this time with Woods. He crosses the 45, still on his feet beyond midfield, and brought down at the Lackawanna 45. It's going to be enough for a first down. Josiah Lewis, number 2 on the tackle, as our first down brought to you by Interstate Batteries, outrageously dependable.
Well, Carter is averaging 7.4 yards a carry, 62 carries for 461 yards so far this year. So that's what they're going to have to rely on. his legs to make big plays like that all night long. Tremendous opening play for that young man.
Woods had both of his rushing touchdowns on the season today back in week 3 against East Aurora Holland. He's now in the shotgun up to the 36-yard line as Woods rolls out to his left. Able to make the reception is Jeremiah Mendez. He is hit hard quickly after making that catch.
Good tackle by Nassim Dahil. And, he's one of their top guys on the offensive side of the ball. He's doing a really nice job playing double duty tonight.
Dolly with 2 forced fumbles and a fumble recovery on the season. 8-yard reception. 2nd and 2 coming up. Maryvale driving. Going off a 42-7 loss last week against Iroquois. Quick handoff, delayed handoff, and Lackawanna able to apply that pressure once again on the defensive side of the line. J.C. Hill McLaughlin, number 17, the first defender.
Well, so far the 2 top plays that they've had is misdirection and the quarterback run. They're going to have to rely on that. Little play action, roll out, hit the guys that are out in the open. Right now, you're seeing a really nice drive started by Maryvale, and let's see how they convert this 3rd down.
Loss of 2 on the last carry, bring up 3rd and 4. One of the keys for Maryvale was getting into these 3rd and manageable scenarios. Here is Woods trying to stiff arm Hill McLaughlin. The ball is loose. It is picked up by the Steelers on the near sideline. Now going down the field is Mackay Scott to the 15, to the 10, and a touchdown for the Lackawanna Steelers. Mackay Scott off of the fumble. It is a touchdown presented by ECMC. Go where the Bills go.
Well, you find consistency in your great players. Mackay Scott is also an offensive weapon where he averages 12.3 yards per carry. It looks like he was an offensive weapon on the defensive side of the ball. Great job staying on his feet, sideline awareness.
Grabbing a face mask, Maryville number 7. That'll be enforced on a kickoff or the PAT based on the coach.
So Mackay Scott, that is now the 2nd forced fumble of the night and now 8th of the season for the Lackawanna defense. 5 fumble recoveries now as well, as we see.
Mess here. Good. On the kickoff.
So the penalty will be enforced on the kickoff as Mackay Scott able to get that fumble recovery from about 40 yards and able to go down right past the Maryvale sideline. Steelers now going for the 2-point conversion. On the carry here is Dolly making a fight towards the goal line. He's in. And Lackawanna now has an 8-0 lead with 5:08 left to go in the first.
Great second effort here. Good lead block. And you see what they have to do right now with the young quarterback in Adrian Garcia. He has handed the ball off 100% of the time. And here is their top guy, getting up a little bit slow. But we're going to see a good fight here tonight. Good job by Coach Rivers taking the penalty on the kickoff, because the next thing you want to be able to do is bury them deep. And, but I got to tell you, they were really on a nice drive, Maryvale. The quarterback was looking good, maybe trying to do a little too much on that last play, get rid of the ball, throw it away, or tuck it and run it. So see what happens when we come back.
We'll step aside on Thursday Night Lights. And welcome back Here, closed caption provided by Buffalo Fresh Ruth. So clarification, it was close to a 50-yard return that Mekhi Scott took to the house for the Lackawanna Steelers to take the early 8-0 lead. Officiating crew tonight, referee Michael Benkowski, umpire Joe Argentieri, the linesman Reginald McCreary, line judge is Ken Thrun, and the back judge is Mr. Tim Everett. So the penalty was enforced, is going to be enforced here on the kickoff. As for Lackawanna, Steelers getting ready to kick this one here from the 45-yard line. Raymar Smith getting ready to kick this one off for the Steelers. Couple of bounces, just shy of the 10. And now Maryvale will start this new drive, trailing by 8.
What you get to see on Lackawanna is the speed. The closing speed that they have right now is one of the big reasons why they're creating so many turnovers this season. Not only are they able to create those turnovers, obviously a 50-yard return by Mekhi Scott shows you the type of speed and athleticism they have out in space.
Now let's take a look here at the Maryvale head coach Nick Todaro in his 6th season with the Flyers, 31 wins, 17 losses, back-to-back divisional titles with the Flyers. In the late 2010s, also some experience at St. Mary's and Hunch Tech.
Prior to the snap, offense number 73, 5-yard penalty.
Todaro was also an assistant coach for the Canisius Crusaders back in 2019.
Yeah, he's one of the top coaches in Western New York. We're, from Erie Community College. We've got guys like Jackson Moritz that played for him last year, a very, very good quarterback that they wish they probably had tonight as well. But I really like what you're seeing here. They're getting the ball out on the perimeter. Just if they can hold on to the football and start putting a drive together, we'll see a great game here. They have more than enough capability to do it.
Cavani Moore recording his first catch of the night for the Flyers, 8th of the season. Had a touchdown catch in week 2 in week 4 against Depew. It's going to bring up about a 1-yard gain here, 2nd and 14. And another flag is thrown.
Prior to the snap, encroachment, defense number 7, 5 yards.
So a penalty against Lackawanna, moving Maryvale up 5 yards to the 19-yard line. 2nd and 12 with Maryvale in the shotgun. Tyler Kursdorfer under center, taking the snap, a high spiral down the near sideline and incomplete. James Redd, the intended receiver on the play. As we mentioned here, Scott, Maryvale with this 2-quarterback system.
Yep, you're going to see they got to take shots like that, because if you allow Lackawanna to walk up into the box and take away your run game, even if that play is incomplete, you still want to be able to take 10 shots downfield a game, typically, especially if you're having difficulty with a run. That will at least keep those guys back and out of the box. They don't want to get beat deep, and that might keep the lanes open.
Roughing a passer. First down.
So a penalty against Lackawanna. Roughing the passer going against Lackawanna, bringing up an Interstate Batteries first down for Maryvale. Interstate Batteries outrageously dependable. From the 34-yard line, Carter Woods back in the action on a QB keeper. Gets to about the 37, and then he is stopped without being taken down by Kurt Stevens Jr.
Nice little mix-up of the plays. I like it. They're getting the ball out to the flat. That's keeping everybody balanced. They're going deep to keep your DBs deep. That allows the quarterback to run up into his lanes and get a pretty nice drive, a pretty nice gain there, 5 yards.
Carter Woods keeping the chains moving, the team leader in carries and rushing yards heading into tonight's action. They'll bring up 2nd and 5 for the Flyers. Just over 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. Lackawanna with the 8-0 lead. Woods bobbles a snap, then takes it himself on the run, and then brought down behind the original line of scrimmage. DeAndre Getz at number 7 on Lackawanna, the first tackler.
Well, that goes without saying that Kurt Stevens is a big man, and when he's that close to your center, it's going to adjust the snap a little bit because the center's trying to get his hands up as quick as he can, and sometimes he shorts the snap. But I just hope that we can start to see more of that Q run for Maryvale here.
Once again, 3rd and manageable for Maryvale. This time 3rd and 6 on its 38-yard line. Maryvale checking the play. They had a big season-opening victory against South Park. Then a loss to Olean. Then their last win today in Week 3 against East Aurora Holland, 42-20. As the Flyers go to the air, the open man, but the pass is incomplete. Connor Finnegan, the intended receiver, and this brings up 4th down.
Well, what you've got to appreciate right now with the offensive play calling is Maryvale sees something there. They've gone to that twice now, and if they had just been a little bit more touch or a little bit taken off the ball, that would have been a huge play for them. And right now you've got the benefit of the 2 healthy quarterbacks we're in Cheektowaga. I keep making that mistake, pardon me, for Maryvale, and that one was right off the tip of the fingers. I love what I'm seeing Coach Tadaro doing, trying to set up. You're going to see more of that this evening. I think they're going to hit 1 or 2 of these things here.
Luke Altieri with the line drive. Punt. This goes through the hands of Makai Scott. Scott able to pick this up at the 15. He goes to the outside. Still on his feet at the 25. Still moving at the 35. Going all the way close to the 40-yard line. A great line drive punt from Luke Altieri, a newcomer and only a junior. And then Makai Scott able to make the most out of it.
Well, even when you make a mistake, with that much experience and that much talent, he made something out of what could have been a very pivotal mistake for Lackawanna.
So the Steelers return to the field already with the 8-0 lead, 1:55 to go in the first quarter. Lackawanna lost to Pioneer in the season opener 7-0, won the Nail-Biters in Week 1. Then they railed off back-to-back wins against East Aurora Holland and Albion. Then in Week 4, 21-14 loss to Iroquois, and then most recently a 32-15 rout against Dunkirk as the Steelers go to the ground on first down, getting close to the 45-yard line. And there's the head coach for the Lackawanna Steelers, Marcus Rivers, a 2007 graduate, was part of the Steelers sectional championship team back in 2006. Spent some time at UB football, and now back here coaching at his alma mater.
Yeah, Marcus has always been an incredible local talent. I had the pleasure of being on staff at UB when we had him there. Great player all around, good guy. His players, you can tell, love him, and he's got a lot of great athletes out here tonight.
Rivers, in his 10th season with the Steelers, was the longtime offensive coordinator for Adam Tarniff, including 3 years ago when the Steelers won a sectional title and went all the way to the state semifinals. Now as a head coach, get this guy, he is 20-4 as a head coach in the last 3 years.
Well, he's had some incredible student athletes. We have over at Erie Community College now, for us, we have Sam Kegwawano playing for us and LaShawn Braxton, which were 2 of their top players last year and are making huge impact on our program. But if you look at the size of the gentleman there, number 50, for example, I was watching him walk around, 5'9", 285 pounds. They are very impressive up front.
3rd and 2 for the Steelers, under 30 seconds left in the first quarter. Steelers trying to move the ball towards the first down marker. Big stop from Maryvale, about a 1-yard gain. So we're approaching the last 10 seconds of the first.
I think they're going to be happy to have the clock run down and flip the field here.
It'll be 4th and 1 for Lackawanna when we come back for the start of the second The Steelers on the road, up by 8. You're watching Thursday Night Lights here on My TV Buffalo. Coming next, be sure to stick around and stay tuned for the UB Bulls halftime show. UB Bulls football, family, affordable, fun. And welcome back for the start of the second quarter. Joe Kraus, Scott Pilkey, and the gang with you tonight from Cheektowaga, New York. The Maryvale Flyers hosting the Lackawanna Steelers 8-0. The only score, Micaiah Scott on the defensive side of the ball, one of 2 fumble recoveries from the Steelers defense. Scott taking it to the house from nearly 50 yards out as the 4th and 1 play, able to continue this drive. Another big first down. A big run to start. The first down brought to you by Express Windows. Now installing windows as low as $329 within 5 to 6 weeks.
Well, you're starting to see the theory behind their offensive scheme tonight. It's going to be about hammering with the run game, taking away your best player, Michael Moore, who is yet to come into the game. He accounted for 800-plus yards, 12 touchdowns, 10 by pass with a 49% completion rate. And a quick little handoff here. Great pursuit by Maryvale.
There is a flag. Maryvale believes the ball came out as it was J.C. Hill McLaughlin on the carry, but there is a flag.
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask, defense, 15 yards end of the run.
Second face mask penalty that we have seen here tonight, the first against Maryvale. As now there is a discussion on the far sideline. But let's take a look again, Scott.
Great pursuit from the outside angle. Yeah, it's, the young man was being very aggressive, but you if that grazed the face mask and you're coming down, but he hung on a little bit too long. That's why it's 15 yards.
So with the penalty, Lackawanna.
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask, defense, previous spot, 15 yards.
Lackawanna now at the Maryvale 31-yard line. Lackawanna coming into this contest, averaging nearly 160 yards rushing. Back in the power I formation, Adrian Garcia under center. Hits a handoff. Quick turn on the carry here is Asim Dali, who gets bottled up around the line of scrimmage.
What you have to love about what Cheektowaga again, we're in Cheektowaga. What you got to love about what Maryvale is doing up front, they're severely undersized, but they're so quick. And what they're doing right now, and with having great success, stopping the inside run there was a tremendous quickness and getting into the gap, getting good penetration, and that was a tremendous job by their left defensive tackle.
Quick pitch, able to make the grab and keep going here as Dolly makes his way upfield. It's close to the 25-yard line before he is stopped by the Maryvale defense.
Yeah, he's lucky. That's just great awareness by number 5 there, reaching back. That could have been a big play again going against Lackawanna, but just that athleticism and awareness doesn't gain much, but it puts him now in a good third and medium.
Dolly, leader in rushing yards and rushing scores with 3, as this is now 3rd and 6. They go back to the ground game and back to Dolly, making his way to the 5 and into the end zone for the touchdown. Naseem Dolly with the 27-yard score. It is an ECMC touchdown. Go where the Bills go.
Just a great push up front. We're starting to see that size make a difference and are, tremendous. They've stayed true to running the ball inside the tackles, and they're starting to get to the second level now, the linebackers. You have so many of these young men that are playing offensive line for Maryvale also are doubling and playing on the defensive line as well.
4th rushing score of the season for Dolly as the Steelers go for the 2-point conversion, and it is good. Lackawanna now leads Maryvale 16-0. We'll step aside and come right back with more of the action. You are watching the Law Office of William Matar's Thursday Night Lights, presented by Stellar Roofing. Closed captioning tonight is provided by Buffalo Fresh Roof. So Lackawanna able to get a score from its defense, and then again offensively for our break. Naseem Dolly, his 4th rushing score of the season from 27 yards out, 9:19 left in the first half. Lackawanna with a double-digit lead. As Raymore Smith on the kick. Maryvale able to return it to 35. Finnegan still at the 45. A great return from Connor Finnegan, close to midfield. The best start tonight for the Maryvale Flyers.
Yeah, Maryvale that's a big return for them. Gives them good field position. Now they can come out and hopefully mount a great drive to get back into this football game.
Connor Finnegan, only a sophomore for the Maryvale Flyers. A lot of youth on this team, and head coach Nick Todaro. They are without 10 players, most of them because of injury. But Finnegan, a nice piece for the future here, Scott, for the Maryvale Flyers.
Well, it's like we were talking about earlier. You've got Logan Gretsch here. That is a sophomore starting at center at 6 feet, 276 pounds. He's been going and doing a pretty good job tonight against Kurt Stevens, who's at 6 feet, 305, and is a senior. So we're challenging a lot of these young kids tonight, but they're coming out here and playing hard.
Tyler Kursdorfer back under center in the shotgun. He looks towards his left, now firing a deep ball down the near sideline for Finnegan. It is batted around, incomplete. There's a flag on the field. Tight coverage, Finnegan going up against Josiah Lewis.
And that's as good as a pass completion. Again, Coach Todaro is not, he's not, this isn't his first rodeo. So he keeps throwing that ball downfield in the hopes of either getting lucky where he's going to
Pass interference.
complete a great one
We're going back 15 yards, previous spot.
or draw a
15 yards
penalty like
previous.
he just did.
Interference, defense. 15 yards, previous spot.
Great return, big break, and I love how he's still going downfield here. And that was actually a catchable football, so we're getting closer to actually completing one of these big plays downfield.
Now from the 37. Carter Woods back under center for Maryvale. He gets the play from head coach Nick Todaro and the coaching staff. Gets the snap. Here's the handoff to Dominic Daly, getting his first carry tonight. Crosses the 35, gets brought down at the 32-yard line. Hill McLaughlin and a host of Steelers on the stop as Dominic Daly, one of those big players. When we got a chance to talk with Nick Todaro, 5 rushing touchdowns, a team high. He had 2 against Olean and 2 against Depew. So Daly, a junior, keeping the chains moving at 2nd and 5 on the Lackawanna 32. Woods in the shotgun. It's a handoff once again from Maryvale, but this time Lackawanna was ready. And who else got Kurt Stevens Jr. on the stop?
Yeah, these guys are really doing a nice job up front for Maryvale, but you're not going to stop Mr. Stevens there all night long. He is a big train of a man. So, and the fact that a sophomore is playing as well as he is right now against probably one of the premier nose guards in Western New York is a testament to how Coach Todaro has his team ready to play tonight, in spite of the injuries.
3rd and 6 from the Lackawanna 33. Maryvale off to its best drive to start after the big return on the kickoff from Connor Finnegan. Woods looks at the play, looks at his play chart once again. Dominic Daly moves now from his left to the right, 2 receivers at the top of your screen. And now we have a timeout called.
Timeout, Maryville.
Timeout called by Maryvale with 7:26 left in quarter number 2. And a reminder once again, coming up, our halftime show presented by the UB Bulls. UB Bulls football, family, affordable, fun.
I really like the mix-up that Coach Todaro is doing with his offensive play calling right now. And even though he's down 2 scores, he's trusting both of his quarterbacks, throw the ball downfield, run the ball up inside. Now you're starting to see some of his other talent come online. The offensive line is settled in. They think they can get push. They've been running to the left side of the ball with that inside zone. And now you're going to see a nice little changeup, possibly another play action pass or a screen.
So 3rd and 6 for Maryvale at the Lackawanna 33-yard line. Woods in the shotgun. Finnegan, the motion up top. Now QB keeper for Woods. He crosses the 30, and then he is stopped by the Lackawanna defense.
Well, this is obviously 4-down territory with 7:15 left in the first half. And Coach Todaro and Maryvale want to put some points up here.
It was good, a 6-yard gain from Woods, now 4th and 3 at the 30. Carter Woods, the senior, makes a call to the outside. Woods rolls out to his right. Woods on the run. He throws. The pass is incomplete. On the pressure was Josiah Lewis of Lackawanna. It's a turnover on downs.
Well, it's out of that formation. Lackawanna made a very nice adjustment because it's been out of that formation predominantly that they've been doing their rollout passes or a couple of their fancier concepts earlier in the first quarter.
Coming up later tonight during the fourth quarter, we'll be highlighting the school bus stop of the game. The law in every state requires drivers to always stop for a school bus when the stop arm is out and the red lights are flashing. Again, be sure to stick around later in the fourth quarter for the school bus stop of the game. So after the turnover on downs, Maryvale was on its best drive of the night. Lackawanna takes over at its own 30-yard line with 6:36 to go before the half. Power I formation. Garcia gets the handoff, but we have a flag.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 8, 5 yards.
The penalty is going to help Maryvale all night so far in putting them back into a 1st and 15. But you're also starting to see the adjustment that Maryvale is now bringing the Mike blitz because you're starting to see the big double team and sometimes triple team at the point of attack where they're trying to establish the inside run as their main hammer.
1st and 15 from the 25. A quick cut upfield from Lackawanna, able to get a good chunk of yards to about the 33-yard line. It was once again Nassim Dolly on the carry.
He's been their whole offense tonight, and obviously somebody you want to, get the ball in their hands as many times as possible.
Good run to the 33-yard line. Gain of 8 for a 2nd and 7 play coming up. As you see on your screen, 7 carries for 45 yards and the touchdown. That was good from 27 yards out. Power I formation for the Steelers. Another handoff. And Dolly again on the carry. Gets to the 35. And then he is brought down by Maryvale's Logan Gretsch, number 76, on the way.
J.C. Hill McLaughlin is an impressive fullback, number 17. They put him right up on their number 1 guy here, Jeremiah Mendez. That was a nice collision they had inside to allow that ball to go for that 4-yard run there.
It's going to bring up 3rd and 4 for Lackawanna. Just over 5 minutes to play. The Steelers already on top, 16-0. Another handoff to Dolly. You could hear the hit from up here from the Maryvale defense. It's going to be short of the first down marker.
Great stand by Maryvale. That's exactly what they needed. They get a 4th and short coming up. Nice job from the backside linebacker coming in behind the block and making the essential tackle. If you can keep him from getting to your second level, you've got a chance to stop him. Again, you're seeing the very young up front, and they're playing very tough against this senior offensive line of Lackawanna.
So after the hit from Dominic Daly, it's now 4th and 2 for the Steelers wearing their road white uniforms with the classic gray helmets. Maryvale in their dark home jerseys tonight. 4th and 2, just over 4 minutes left, and Lackawanna trying to call it a timeout.
Game, offense. 5 yards.
But the delay of game penalty has been called.
Well, that's, again, a big opportunity for Maryvale here to get a good stop and have a great field position if Lackawanna is continuing to go for it here on what should be about 4th and 7 now.
The penalty was negated, but we'll step aside. There was a timeout from Lackawanna, and we'll be right back after this short break. This is the Law Office of William Mattar's Thursday Night Lights, presented by Stellar Roofing. Welcome back. 4:12 left in the second quarter. Both teams now with 2 timeouts apiece. Lackawanna leads Maryvale 16-0. Along with Scott Pilkey and our entire crew, I am Joe Kraus. Thanks again for watching the Law Office of William Matar's Thursday Night Lights, presented by Stellar Roofing, right here on My TV Buffalo. Week 6 action, Section 6, Class B2 affair between the Steelers and the Flyers. As on 4th and 2 on the carry was Mekhi Scott, but the Maryvale defense able to step up.
Big stop. Tremendous job by Maryvale there. Everybody came, brought the heat, got penetration, and turnover on downs. This is exactly what Coach Tadaro needed out of his defense in order to get back into this game. Now it's time to take it downfield with no penalties and see if we can't even up this quarter with 8 points. I'm hoping we can see this here out of Maryvale. They're about to unload. You can just see them. They're on the brink of breaking a play, of getting a big catch, and I really love the tenacity of this. This team has been banged up, and they're playing with one of the better teams in all of Western New York, and they're hanging tough. Like you talked about earlier, great rivalries sometimes bring out the best in us, and that's what you're seeing here. And Coach Tadaro has a nucleus of a great team here going forward.
From the 39 on first down, it is Woods. Through the air, the near sideline, it is incomplete, just off the fingertips of Connor Finnegan.
And that's the term tonight, off the fingertips. It's that close. That's what you feel when you're seeing them get downfield here.
Our referees, there is a flag on the 46-yard line.
Holding, offense, number 50, 10 yards, previous spot, redo the down.
So not only was the catch not made there, Scott, it's a holding penalty, and the Flyers move back to the 49-yard line. As you could see, right in the trenches, and going up on the near sideline, incomplete. Ethan Kesh was called for the hold. As on 1st and 20, the Flyers go to the ground game and get a good chunk back to the Lackawanna 40. As on that carry was the QB, Carter Woods.
On the previous play, when you see the young guys, now you see a nice job getting up to the second level. This is really good for such a young team. The young man comes up, sees that the linebacker he was going to is blocked. As soon as he saw that man was blocked, he goes up onto the second level to the free safety. Tremendous job on that play by the offensive line and their quarterback, who they've been relied on all year to make big plays like that.
Gain of 9, 2nd and 11 at the Lackawanna 40. Woods in the shotgun. QB keeper again goes towards his left, and he's brought down right at the line of scrimmage. Sincere Turner, only a freshman, and in the middle linebacker spot for Coach Rivers, able to make that stop.
Yeah, we talk about, some of the great players that you're going to see. Imagine being a freshman and already getting a start here. And those guys that get to the top levels usually are the 3 or 4 year starters at the varsity level. He's got a good future ahead of him.
Also one, it's now 3rd and 10 on the 39. Approaching the 2-minute warning here in Cheektowaga. Finnegan, the motion man, moving left to right on your screen. 3 receivers to the right as Kirstofer is back in, but the pass is incomplete off of the fingertips of James Redd. So Tyler Kirstofer comes back in for a snap, looking on the near sideline, but it's incomplete.
Well, he had a completion of 16 of 47 for 285 yards coming in here. But you see, he's actually got a very good arm. He's throwing it on point. Tonight we've had fingertip drops most of the evening. It's not that you don't have the ability to have great quarterbacks throwing it and running it, but it's the change-up between the quarterbacks that's allowing them, even though you've got one quarterback out there that's throwing the ball 100% of the time and your other quarterback is running it 100% of the time, they're able to still produce some really great yards going forward.
Timeout. Maryvale.
Maryvale calling a timeout. Second of the half with 2:24 left to go in the second quarter. Well, as we mentioned, Scott, about this big rivalry, you go back through the years, especially that sectional championship at the stadium in 2006, but also in the early 1990s, there was a back-to-back Connolly Cup winners in 92, Corey Shem, the Maryvale quarterback, and then in 93, the quarterback from Lackawanna, Warren Miles. Big rivalry back in the 90s. You kind of talked about Lackawanna, the history. Ron Jaworski, a notable graduate from Lackawanna. Just what is it about these rivalries in Western New York that just make it so special?
Well, I've always had a huge space in my heart for Lackawanna. Legendary coach Tony Pagliai was the gentleman that hired me at Erie Community College in 2000. His son, Kevin Pagliai, and I played against each other, and this Lackawanna team has always been a point of pride, Lackawanna pride. But you cannot come to Maryvale and not see the same thing as you're starting to see the cheerleaders out here. The fans are, hoping that their team can get back into play here.
4th and 10, Kersdorfer down the near sideline. It is intercepted by Mackay Scott. Going out of bounds just shy of the Maryvale 40. The second big play of the day on defense from Mackay Scott. And now the Steelers take over.
Well, it's the Mackay Scott and the Seam show here tonight. And, both have been having great on both offense and defense. And, going to the well one too many times. This is what it is. He's looking down. He's looking at the one guy he wants to see, and he throws it into double coverage, especially with somebody as talented as Mackay Scott there. He has a great beat on the ball, great body awareness, goes up at the highest point, and that's why he's able to, that's his second turnover of the day, the fumble recovery, and now a key interception with 2 minutes to go in this first half.
Steelers go to the ground game to start this drive with Nassim Dali getting the call. That interception from Mackay Scott now gives Lackawanna 4 interceptions on the season, and that was the second of the year for Mackay, as this now brings up 2nd and 5, and the clock continues to tick under 2 minutes left before the break.
I don't believe that Lackawanna has even thrown a pass yet, have they?
I don't believe so, no.
And they're running the ball up inside very effectively. And this is what you have to do when you don't have your star quarterback, Michael Moore, out there tonight.
Back to the ground game. Dali on the carry, riding on the wave from his lineman. He gets close to midfield. There'll be enough for a big first down here for the Lackawanna Steelers. The first down is brought to you by Express Windows, now installing windows as low as $329 within 5 to 6 weeks. Gain of 10 on the last carry from Nassim Dali. 5'8", 170-pound senior. So we're approaching the final minute of this half.
This is actually a very important job for Lackawanna to overcome, not having a star player like Michael Moore, because they are able to rely on their offensive line, which, as the weather gets worse here, they're going to have to do going forward in the next month of play.
Nassim Dali again on the carry, no gain, and we'll give credit here, that big play up front. It looked like Dylan Birch was one of the defenders on the stop for Maryvale. That's 30 seconds of the half. So you could see heading to the sideline, Ethan Kish taking a quick breather. Maryvale rotating in, a lot of linemen, sometimes going with a 4 or 5 defensive back formation. As Garcia under center with 5 seconds to go. Pitch to the left, one-handed grab by Scott. He is brought down just past midfield, and that will conclude the first half of play tonight. The Lackawanna Steelers lead 16-0. Scott, your thoughts on that first half?
Well, I think overcoming the injury to their quarterback, or for whatever reason why the quarterback for Lackawanna is not playing in the first half. Losing somebody like Michael Moore is it's detrimental to the success of Lackawanna, but they're seemingly being able to overcome it so far tonight.
And we'll send it down to the sideline as we are joined now by Lackawanna head coach Marcus Rivers. And Marcus, you have that big 16-0 lead. Mackay Scott with both of those plays. How has Mackay been a big impact here so far?
Like I said, he's been a big impact. We're glad that he decided to leave Global and come to us. It's been a hell of a run having a guy like that. But like I said, we just got to keep grinding and keep our foot down and set the tone.
Doing a great job so far up front, Coach, and we're really impressed with that offensive line of yours.
Oh, thank you. Like I told them, we go as they go. They have to stay hungry. It's times that we get complacent and lax, and then we go astray, and then we just not play Lackawanna Steelers football.
Well, good luck going into the second half, Coach, and look forward to seeing what you guys do.
All right, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Again, halftime score, Lackawanna leads Maryvale 16-0. I'm Joe Kraus. He's Scott Pilkey. We're going to step aside for our halftime break and bring you more action here on the Law Office of William Matar's Thursday Night Lights, presented by Stellar Roofing.
You're watching the UB Bulls Halftime Report.
And welcome to halftime. Lackawanna leads Maryvale 16-0 here on the Thursday Night Lights. And now it's time for the Scholar Athletes. Dr. Todd Shatkin from the Athletic Associates Center is proud to present the Thursday Night Lights Athletic Associates Scholar Athletes of the Week. And let's start with a 91.33 GPA. Josiah Rosado Roman is a Scholar Athlete for Lackawanna High School. Josiah's athletic achievements include being a multi-sport athlete across 6 varsity programs. Josiah is also a member of the National Honor Society, and his community involvement includes volunteering in the Reading Partner Program, where he is a reading mentor for students in grades pre-K through 2nd grade. And up next for Maryvale, she has a 4.0 GPA. Aviana Patrizio is the Scholar Athlete for the Flyers. Aviana's athletic achievements include breaking the record for most career goals scored, earning her a Golden Boot Award. Aviana is also a member of the National Honor Society, and her community involvement includes volunteering as director for Drama Fest. These All-Stars are now entered for a $5,000 scholarship at the end of the season. Congratulations to the Athletic Associate Scholar Athletes of the Week. It is halftime. Lackawanna up by 16. We'll be right back with more action here after this short break.
You're watching the UB Bulls Halftime Report.
And welcome back. Lackawanna up 16-0 over Maryvale. Each week during halftime of our Friday Night Rivals broadcast, we'll be showcasing outstanding Thursday Night Lights and Friday Night Rivals game highlights from across the country. Here's some of the best from last week's games.
The best Thursday Night Lights and Friday Night Rivals highlights from across the country.
Churchill hands to Ron. Nice cut move and a hurdle. He's still on his feet. Are you kidding me? Caleb Ron, touchdown. Oh my goodness, what did he just do?
Empty set now for Draho. He's going to air it out, taking a shot deep. Making the catch in stride is Tabato. Touchdown, McCauley.
Fortier just unleashes one to Tabato. Look at that. Just a cannon down the field. Tabato gets behind the defender. Fortier with the throw. And
here's Rios. He can change it in a hurry. Breaks it outside.
There he
Breaks
goes.
Another tackle. He's at the 30. He's at the 20. Got one man to beat. Sidesteps him and goes to the end zone. Dives for the touchdown.
Second down and 10. Here's George. Running through tacklers. First down and more. Look out. George, one man to beat. Touchdown Baylor. 60 yards.
Moore is going to go around the right side. Have to play. The ball's in the air. The ball popped up, scooped up. It's picked up by White Nose. Down the sideline we go. This is number 0. This is Coakley. Coakley, green grass and opportunity. That's 6 on the board.
Lackawanna with a 16-0 lead over Maryvale. We'll be right back for the start of the second half on the law office of William Matar's Thursday Night Lights, presented by Stellar Roofing.
You're watching the UB Bulls Halftime Report.
And welcome back, wrapping up our halftime show. Lackawanna putting on a show up 16-0 over the Maryvale Flyers. Joe Kraus, Scott Pilkey with you. As Scott, we take a look at the first half highlights. It really has been just a tale of a couple of big plays that the Steelers have provided.
Yeah, we see that it's a tale of 2 turnovers tonight. Right now, Maryvale's doing a great job on defense, but you're seeing here the 2 turnovers that have led to critical mistakes, but have led to big scores. That is the difference of the game right now. And Maryvale's been doing a really nice job playing disciplined football. They're a young front, but they're still fighting their butts off here, and they're staying in this game. Here you see a great cutback. That Lackawanna offensive line has had some success here in the second quarter, but Lackawanna's got those 2 guys that have just been awesome all night. Big interception here coming back. That's what we're seeing. It's just a couple big plays. And, you're even looking here at the matchup. 33 yards total offense and 53 for Lackawanna. Tremendous job by Coach Tadaro getting his young team ready, and in spite of all the injuries.
Lackawanna with the 16-0 lead over Maryvale. We'll step aside for another short break. You are watching the Law Office of William Matar's Thursday Night Lights, presented by Stellar Roofing on MyTV Buffalo. And welcome back. Lackawanna up over Maryvale 16-0. The moon is bright here on Thursday night. Lackawanna up by 2 scores. And Scott, we were talking about it a little early on, but if you're head coach Marcus Rivers, if you're head coach Nick Tadaro, how do you address this second half?
Well, I think right now when you're looking at Lackawanna, who's traditionally a powerhouse, and their number 1 guy, Michael Moore, is out, this is the tale of 2 quarterbacks, a tale of 2 turnovers. Maryvale is playing really tough. In spite of the injuries, Coach Tadaro has his young team, competing. And on the other side of the ball, Coach Rivers is doing what his team has to do in order to stay, and get through what might be either an injury or something else that is, Michael Moore has been their offense, 800-plus yards, 12 touchdowns, 10 passing, 50% completion rate. Now, the other 2 quarterbacks on the other side, they've done a really good job tonight. They're throwing the ball out there. If it's not for, a series of drops, you might have a different complete different take because Lackawanna has only been able to score 1 touchdown on offense and 1 touchdown on defense. When you look at that matchup comparison of the stats, both of these teams are usually, a bit more explosive, but it's an equal field right now.
And let's now bring in the head coach of Maryvale, Nick Todaro. Nick, you're only down by 2 scores. We were just talking about the offense here, getting some good looks. How would you assess the first half of action from your team?
We just got to execute better. I think we had some opportunities there. We had some guys open, and we either didn't deliver the ball or didn't catch the ball or both. We just got to clean it up. I think there's opportunities out there for us. We got to, not shoot ourselves in the foot. We got to take care of the football. We can't turn it over. And just trying to continue to tackle these guys and try to find ways to score.
Coach, I'm really impressed with how your young front is doing against a really, very large offensive line and defensive line at Lackawanna. Good luck to you going here into the second half, Coach.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, that is Maryvale head coach Nick Todaro. Scott Pilkey and Joe Kraus with you. I'm Joe. He's Scott. And you were just talking about just the intensity of the second half. Maryvale's got some good looks. They just have to capitalize, like Coach said.
Well, like we're saying, we said fingertips. If they can get one big play, and they've thrown it downfield, and they're getting behind Lackawanna, so they have to continue to go after that and get consistent play out of their O-line, and now the receiving core has to come up with the big catch here tonight if they're going to get back in this game. Because I have a feeling that Lackawanna is just going to continue to do what they do: run the football, run the clock down, and get through this one without their quarterback, their superhero of 800-plus yards total offense, Michael Moore.
Well, Makai Scott has taken the Superman cape for sure. And this one for the Steelers. Scott had the big 40-yard touchdown, fumble recovery touchdown that really got this going to give Lackawanna after the 2-point conversion, the 8-0 lead with just over 5 minutes left in the first quarter. Then Nassim Dali with the rushing score as well. There's under a minute left here on the game clock before the second half will begin. An extended halftime here as we are in week 6. Maryvale with a 2-3 record, and Lackawanna at 3-2. As Nassim Dali, a great first half for the Lackawanna Steelers. 13 carries for 70 yards in the big score. Dali, as we mentioned at the top of our broadcast, the leader in rushing yards and attempts for the Steelers all season for Coach Rivers.
Well, just, like you said, 160 yards they're averaging. That's what happens when you only have the run game. When you have a running quarterback and a passing quarterback, that doesn't allow you to fill the gaps. And that's what Maryvale is doing very successfully. They're bringing the single-man blitz. They're pinching. They're smaller, but they're quicker. And there's only been a couple of big breakouts, like the run in the long run that we had for a touchdown. Other than that, they're really playing well in spite of all their injuries. You got to tip the hat to Maryvale and this young group. It's going to be a great group going forward, especially if they can come back against a team like this that has only lost 2 games by a very small amount. Aside from a handful of mistakes, Lackawanna could be very easily undefeated in their division right now.
It was a season-opening 7-point loss to Pioneer, 7-0. And then in week 4, 21-14 loss to Iroquois. Those are the only 2 losses on the season to date for Lackawanna, who will then host Depew next Saturday at 2 p.m. and then on the road at Olean on the 24th. They'll close the regular season. For Maryvale, they'll continue their season next week at Dunkirk next Friday the 17th, and then they'll host Albion on the 24th. As you can see the huddle, Nick Todaro just broke the huddle with the Maryvale squad getting ready for the kickoff as we're getting ready for the start of the second half. And once again, a big thanks to our food sponsor for tonight, the Cheesy Chick, located at 5385 Main Street. Call 716-817-9559 or visit thecheesychickbuffalo.com. Maryvale getting ready to kick this off. Luke Altieri, or beg your pardon, Muhammad Tartar ready to kick this off here for the Flyers. 2 men back for the Steelers. Great crowd on hand at halftime. Maryvale and the varsity cheerleaders, who had some assistance from the junior Flyers cheerleaders. Great crowd on hand here tonight at Cheektowaga, as this is a kick towards the near sideline, taking a bounce, out of bounds. The flag comes in, and Lackawanna is going to start this new
Kick
drive.
out of bounds.
So Lackawanna only had just over 70 yards of total yards in that first half. So we're waiting the official call on the field.
Illegal procedure. Kick out of bounds. That's fine.
Lackawanna, as we mentioned here, Scott, 3-2 this season. Last year, they lost to Health Sciences in the Class B semifinal for Section 6, a 9-1 record. 2 years ago, in the first year under head coach Marcus Rivers, the Steelers went 8-1. They lost to South Park early on in the Class B postseason. As on first down, another carry to start this new drive. Naseem Dolly on the carry. And you mentioned it, Scott, a moment ago, just a couple of tough one-score losses, and Lackawanna would still be unblemished. But as you get late to the season, how do you address a Week 6 contest with trying to get the right pieces ready to go before the postseason?
Well, like you take a look at guys like Carson Becker, who's only a sophomore. That was a tremendous play here. The best part about what you're seeing is that Maryvale, while they're young, they're really responding to their head football coach and their game plan. They're making the adjustments, and look at this. I mean, the young men are up front against, size difference, and they're shooting the gaps. The coaches made great adjustments. You're already seeing what's happening here. They're already putting Lackawanna in a 3rd and medium. And again, this is what they have to do. They have to stop Lackawanna on this drive and get on the scoreboard early in this second half.
Lackawanna breaking the line of scrimmage. Handoff up the middle. About a 1 or 2 yard gain as Garcia a little shaken up on the handoff, now jogging off to the sideline. Almost a sack as Garcia, you'll take a look again.
So what we're seeing is the shooting of the gaps. And I tell you, I'm really impressed with Trevor Maines. This is about the 3rd or 4th time he shot the A-gap and gotten into the legs or has been a disruptor in the backfield. The only thing you have to be careful of is that you don't over-penetrate, because that's what's opened up the holes previously to allow that big play earlier for their touchdown run.
This will bring up 4th and 3. And before we get the snap, flags are on the field.
Timeout called prior to the flag.
Instead, we have a timeout called by Lackawanna with 9:42 left in the 3rd quarter. A reminder coming up later in the broadcast, we'll have our school bus stop of the game. That'll be coming up later in the 4th quarter. The law in every state requires drivers to always stop for a school bus when the stop arm is out and the red lights are flashing. Stay tuned for the school bus stop of the game.
Well, right now, I think it's got to be that sweet little interception we saw late in the 2nd quarter. I thought that was a great play. Again, tremendous athleticism on that play. But look at how tough Coach Tadaro took his team in. made some optimal adjustments, and right now, I'm telling you, I'm really impressed with Maryvale holding this strong on this drive, especially with the tremendous field position that Lackawanna started the second half with the ball going out of bounds.
And now some movement in the trenches.
Got it. Prior to the snap, encroachment, defense, 5 yards. That'll result in a first down on distance.
So now Lackawanna stays on the field as this first down is brought to you by Interstate Batteries, outrageously dependable.
See, that's a good little adjustment there. They're seeing the penetration happen, so what do? They change the count, and that's what they just did. They got themselves a first down by going on 2 for probably the first time this evening and drawing that offsides.
So a fresh set of downs. Lackawanna now in foreign territory. As once again, almost a sack. The ball briefly loose at midfield. And a lot of action at midfield here, Scott. We mentioned that this is a rivalry game between Lackawanna and Maryvale.
Well, you see what they're trying to do now. You have a very young quarterback. They've been shooting the A gap, bringing that blitz up the middle to stop the run, and that's what they have to do, because the success that Lackawanna had in the very first half was about setting that apex with the center getting push, and if they had a good double team, but they're while they might be smaller, they're quicker, and they're really getting some penetration, and that young quarterback is having a little difficulty with that type of penetration. You got to give him a lot of credit coming in here, Adrian Garcia as a sophomore and starting against a very competitive Maryvale defensive front.
It was a 3-yard loss. The Steelers back at midfield, 2nd and 13. Garcia in the shotgun, a quick direct snap to Scott. He bumps off one man, still on his feet at the 45. Flyers believe the ball came out loose, waiting for the call. And it is a fumble recovery for Maryvale. The Flyers able to get one back.
Well, again, great adjustments by Nick Todaro and his staff. And, this is just great pursuit, tremendous second effort. And you can't run the same play over and over and over again, which is what they did. Now, you see Lackawanna comes out in a 3 wide. What was that hope? They were trying to get, if you're not going to throw the football, you might walk a linebacker out, but the great play by the defensive front, now let's see what their offense can do.
Trevor Baines able to get the punch out, and now Maryvale takes over on its 45-yard line, trailing 16-0. Just over 8 minutes left in the third. On the ground game, go the Flyers, and it is Finnegan, or beg your pardon, Dominic Daly on the carry. Only his second or third carry of the evening. It's about 2 yards. Second down coming up.
But that's an important, getting anything positive right now. Now can you do in second and long? You can throw, you can run the quarterback, you can throw it out to the flare. It's about keeping the chains moving forward, not killing yourself with penalties and not turning the ball over, which is the only reason why they're down 2 touchdowns rather than 1.
Gain of 3 from Daly, 2nd and 7 at the 48. Another quick handoff. Flyers able to go beyond midfield and stopped. It was number 17 there, Cordero Stanley, getting his first carry tonight.
Now this is what we're talking about. Now you're in third and manageable. You want to play this. Everybody's going to play on this side of the 50. It's 4-down territory. And, you got to take the chances. You're already down 16. Give your offense and your young offensive line an opportunity to get the first down. And don't give the ball back to Lackawanna as long as you can hold on to it. Get it, get this first down in 2-down territory.
Manageable 3rd and 4 for the Flyers. Quick handoff, bump into the outside is Connor Finnegan. making his way upfield, and then he is stopped just past the Lackawanna 45. Another big play from Connor Finnegan, and another Interstate Batteries first down. Outrageously dependable.
Well, they're starting to get to Lackawanna. They pulled the backside guard, and they're getting good angles. They're Coach Tadaro did a great job with Maryvale offense. They're doubling team, and two young guys versus one big guy, and pulling the backside to get up to the linebacker on that power. That's the first one they ran like that all night. Keep it up.
Up to the Lackawanna 43 goes Maryvale. Another big run and spinning just shy of the 35. A good run there coming from Finnegan once again.
Well, it looks like Coach Tadaro took the play out of the Lackawanna-only playbook tonight. That lead or that ISO in the inside, and they've got Lackawanna on their heels now. I would not be surprised if he goes deep on this one right here, because they've been going for that all night long. I think right now you're starting to see the Lackawanna is moving up under 10 yards. Look at their secondary. And if you can get them up under 10 yards, now you're talking about a play-action pass out of this split backfield. Might go deep for them here.
Second down from the 37 Woods, making his way just close to the 30, but we have a flag on the field. If this stands about a 6-7 yard run.
Number 65, offense.
But this is going to come back. Let's take a look again.
Well, you're starting to see the movement on the O-line, and yeah, that is clearly, yeah. And I love how number 55 even had to look at the ref to go, he almost hung his jersey out on a clothesline there. But again, young guys trying to do their job. And that's a big man. Can you imagine trying to hold that gentleman by his jersey? Wow.
So the 10-yard penalty puts us back 2nd and 14 at the Lackawanna 47-yard line. Marcus Rivers looking for his defense to make a stop. Up 16-0. It's a high snap. Woods dropping back, pressure from behind. Now the throw is up. It is caught, but out of bounds goes Orlando Taylor III. A nice grab on the near sideline, but he stepped on the white chalk.
Ironically, we saw that last shot with Coach Rivers, and next to him was my guy, Sam Ikegwawanu, on the sideline with his team from last year. Again, we're throwing this into two-man coverage. This is what they're trying to do. I think they'll have a little bit more if they have an outside plant the foot and hit the seam route rather than up along the sideline. I really think they can, because of how tight the free safety and strong safety have been playing. I think that is there, but boy, you see what penalties can do to you, right? They're moving downfield. They were doing a great job. One penalty sets them back. Rather than 3rd and 5, it puts them back deep.
Well, that's what Nick Tadaro told us earlier this week, that they can't have these 2nd, 3rd and long scenarios like right now, as Kersdorfer, as he's hit, makes this throw incomplete down the near sideline looking for James Redd. Tyler Kersdorfer able to get back up, but this was a scenario, Scott. They wanted Maryvale to be in 2nd and 3rd and short instead of these 2nd and 3rd and long plays.
Well, while a penalty has stopped their drive, what you're seeing is a really reinvigorated Maryvale Flyers coming out here in the second half, putting up a fight. This is what you kept talking about earlier. This isn't just a rival. This is about who can thrive in the second half. And, there's no such thing as moral victories, but when you have a young team bitten by injuries the way that they have, and they're still playing one of the top teams in Western New York this tough, you got to give Coach Tadaro and his staff a tremendous amount of respect. What a great punt. Now this is the first time you flip the field, first time you put Lackawanna deep in their own zone. They're putting the ball on the ground, and if you can stop them down here, you've got that punt was just as good as a big pass down the field.
We'll step aside. More action from Cheektowaga after this short break. Tonight's closed captioning is provided by Buffalo Fresh Ruth. So Luke Altieri, a junior punter, recently coming onto the team, had a big punt before our break for the Maryvale Flyers after the last drive stalled out after the penalty. A great punt, as you were saying, Sky, and now Lackawanna has to start this one at their own 15.
And not being able to throw the ball or not trusting the young man to throw the ball, they might have to be forced to open it up here. You know, you've seen a lot of the pro-style offense where it's been smash mouth, but Coach Tadaro has essentially taken them out of their game plan that was so successful in the first half. And I can't see how they're not going to continue to do that, and as they do in the very first play here. They are playing big-time football here at Maryvale tonight. Their crowd is into it, the coaches are into it, and the kids are running on and off the field. There's a different energy in the Maryvale sideline right now since halftime adjustments.
Makai Scott was on that carry for Lackawanna. Good for only 3 yards. 2nd and 7 coming up on the 18-yard line. Garcia now in the shotgun. 3 receivers to Garcia's left. Here's the snap, direct handoff. Once again this time, breaking the tackle, crossing the 25-yard line. Another good run for Makai Scott.
Well, that was a good job because what they did was they didn't put the 3 wide receivers to the strong side or the open side of the field that time. They had them to the boundary, and that did walk out the linebacker that has been inside the D-end, inside the box, and that gave them the direct, quicker handoff rather than just the lead that got them the positive yards to get them a first down. Really important for them to reestablish that, getting out of their own zone, because this is the worst field position Lackawanna's had all night.
Another Interstate Batteries first down, bringing the Steelers up to the 28-yard line. Lackawanna with a 16-0 lead. This time a QB keeper from Garcia. He gets past the 30, and then is brought down. Looks like Luke Altieri on the stop for Maryvale.
Well, you know, what you got to appreciate about that young man is he's been given a task tonight. Don't turn the ball over. And they gave him a little run to the left. And while he might have been a little hesitant, he's only a sophomore. But what did he do? He covered the ball up with both arms to make sure that he did not turn the ball over down into his own end. A little more pep in that step coming out of the huddle this time.
Approaching 2 minutes left in the third. Garcia in the shotgun, 3 receivers at the bottom of your screen. It's a low snap. Scott makes the recovery, but Maryvale able to make the huge stop at the line of scrimmage again.
Look, speed kills sometimes. You got all the size and strength, and you got tremendous athletes, but they're literally playing with, 10 guys right now because their superstar quarterback isn't in. But, number 19's doing the best job that he can, but you cannot take away from what Maryvale is doing here in the second half.
Dominic Daly leading the charge for Maryvale to force a 3rd and 12 scenario for Lackawanna. Daly 4th on the team in tackles, also a sack on the season. As Garcia is in the shotgun on 3rd and 12. Another handoff up the middle, a short gain, and leading the charge for Maryvale this time, Altieri as well as Andrew Costanzo, the lineman, with the big stop.
Well, what you've seen here now, too, which is really causing a lot of problems for Lackawanna's front 5, is that the mix-up in the fronts. You're seeing a 4 front by Maryvale, and now you just saw a 3 front where they're utilizing their quickness, shooting the A-gap to either side and bringing a backside linebacker, and it's doing a lot of damage to that ISO or that inside zone that was so dominant for Lackawanna in the first half.
2 men back to return for Maryvale. And this will be delay of game against Lackawanna.
Dead ball. Delay of game. Offense. 5 yards.
What did Coach Rivers say at halftime? We go as they go. And he says sometimes we lack, and that means we don't play Lackawanna football. And I think that is what we are seeing here in this third quarter at least.
Marcus Rivers talking a lot about the pride that the Steelers have, starting with himself and the coaching staff, as this will be a good start for Maryvale, as we'll step aside for another short break. You are watching the Law Office of William Matar's Thursday Night Lights, presented by Stellar Roofing on MyTV Buffalo. So after the punt, the Maryvale offense returns. Carter Woods is under center. Second drive of this quarter, where Maryvale has had good start in terms of field, as Cordero Stanley gets the first carry. The big man gets about a yard or two, and then brought down by Kurt Stevens Jr. of the Lackawanna defense. 20 seconds to go, left in the third.
Well, I really can't say enough about Kurt Stevens. He has been the consistency of this defensive front. And, we got to look at our individual achievements. Lackawanna was dominant in the first half as far as physicality. But, boy, going into the fourth quarter, who's got the energy? Win or lose right now, Maryvale they're dominating in the third quarter. Let's see if they can continue it to make this game great going into the fourth.
We'll step aside and come right back. Thursday Night Lights here in Cheektowaga. Yeah, welcome back. Start of the fourth quarter. Maryvale at the Lackawanna 45 on 2nd and 9, trailing by 16. It's Dominic Daly bumping to the outside and getting close to the Lackawanna 35-yard line. A good run, now setting up third and short.
Maryvale is playing at a different level than Lackawanna right now. They are playing with speed, they're playing with tenacity, and they're finishing the play. They're staying on their blocks. This is a tremendous effort by this football team in the second half.
8-yard gain for Daly. It is now 3rd and 1. And before we get to the next play, another flag.
Snap, false start, 14, 5 yards.
Well, this is what happens to you when you're a young team. But, again, these are the ones that shoot you in the foot. You still have, this is 4-down territory, but getting the first down with only 2 yards against Lackawanna rather than having to go 6 is definitely not the position you want to be in.
So a 3rd and 1 turns into a 3rd and 6 for Nick Todaro and his Flyers. Here is the snap. A big run going all the way past the 30-yard line. Dominic Daly able to get a big first down for the Maryvale Flyers early in this fourth quarter. 5'10", 190-pound junior with an express windows first down, now installing windows as low as $329 within 5 to 6 weeks.
Remember when we saw in the beginning of the game, right before the beginning of the game, where both teams came together at the 50-yard line, and you thought Lackawanna outnumbered them, they were bigger? Right now, Maryvale is playing with such heart and determination that this is keeping them in the football game.
Daly again answering the call. Team high 5 rushing touchdowns on the season. 2 against Olean, 2 against Depew in weeks 3 and 4. Another 4-yard gain up to the 25-yard line.
And I really love the change of the tempo. And I think this is, look at the hands on the hips. It's getting to Lackawanna. They're in better shape here at this time in the fourth quarter.
Here's the pass to the near sideline. Kurzdorfer able to connect with Cavani Moore. Second catch of the day for Cavani, but Mackay Scott in on the stop.
Well, I believe in what Coach Todaro is doing here, trying to keep it, spreading the ball around here a little bit, because that's going to make these guys run. Now, you're not seeing that type of pursuit that you saw in the beginning. Great job by 1 or 2 guys, but in the very first half or first quarter, you're seeing 5 or 6, 7 bodies around that football. So definitely right now, you're starting to see the legs of Lackawanna are a little bit, they're a little lethargic. They're getting into their stance late.
Kurzdorfer to the near sideline. It is caught, trying to create spaces. James Red still on his feet, and then knocked out of bounds at the 25-yard line. He is hit hard by Mackay Scott. A short gain, but 4th down is coming up.
Hey, they caught a ball on the outside, 5 yards downfield.
3-yard gain for 4th and 6. Two receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Kurzdorfer in the shotgun. Dominic Daly on his right hip. Maryvale trailing 16-0. Kurzdorfer takes the snap. He looks down the near sideline, going up. Finnegan in the back of the end zone, but it is incomplete. Finnegan against 2 Lackawanna defenders. The ball pops out. A great throw from Kurzdorfer, but it is a turnover on downs with 8:18 to play.
And that's the one they've been setting up all night long. The ball is delivered perfectly. It's a great job, great protection, no pass rush, and the young man was able to settle in and throw it downfield. Tough got to be for Mr. Finnegan right now, but you've got to hand it to Coach Todaro.
We'll step aside, a look again at the play. More from Cheektowaga after this. And welcome back to Maryvale High School. Mr. Brightside being played right now. It was a turnover on downs from the Maryvale offense. Lackawanna takes over with 8:18 to play. Adrian Garcia with the handoff. And Lackawanna able to get a couple of yards before being stopped This time, Nassim Dali on the carry. He had a 27-yard scamper back in the second quarter.
Well, right now you're going to see them take as much time as they can in the huddle, run this down as much. They think they've weathered the best that Maryvale had to throw at them, and they probably did. That drive was impressive. But again, what's the difference between these two teams right now is the athletes in Lackawanna have made the big play, and the athletes at Maryvale still have yet to, catch the ball at the most pivotal time.
Dolly makes his way to the Lackawanna sideline. Makai Scott returns, but now we have a flag on the field.
Prior to the snap, delay of game, offense.
Delay of game called against Lackawanna. One man in the backfield. Hand off to Scott. He is brought down rather quickly by the Maryvale defense. Looks like Luke Altieri was on the stop.
Well, what you're seeing here, what the breakdown is in the concept, is you're seeing the primary back at 7 yards deep. And earlier in the game, that gave him vision to see as long as the O-line was maintaining their blocks. And since the third quarter, you're getting a lot of great penetration, and the O-line is not maintaining their blocks with the quick defensive front and the blitz pressure that Maryvale has been bringing this entire second half.
Under 7 minutes to go in regulation. Week 6 action here in Section 6. Another handoff and a short gain and a quick stop again by the Maryvale defense. Fourth down coming up. Lackawanna sending the punt unit in.
What a turnaround, huh?
Yes.
I mean, in the physicality of the game, what a turnaround. With only 6 minutes and 13 seconds left to go, this has really been an incredible effort by Maryvale. And, I can't say enough about how tough this young team is playing. I really have a lot of respect for the staff and all the work that they're doing. I mean, when we saw the wheelchairs out here, literally 2 wheelchairs, no less than 3 or 4 different young men on crutches. And this team tonight they're doing a great job in front of their home fans here.
Low snap, a quick bobble. The Steelers make their way to the 21-yard line, and after the punt, Maryvale is going to take over here with 5:36 to go.
You're seeing guys like, Eddie Albana there, the junior, 5'9", 200 pounds. He comes in and he has a big play. Lackawanna, this is not Lackawanna. Lackawanna doesn't punt the ball out of their own end, and you've seen this happen now twice. The field position is a great job by Maryvale, keeping Lackawanna down inside their own 20, 25-yard line.
So after the punt, Maryvale takes over at the Lackawanna 22-yard line. Once again, our closed captioning tonight is provided by Buffalo Fresh Roof. So Maryvale with another opportunity close to the red zone, taking over 1st and 10 at the 22-yard line. Gersdorfer in at quarterback. Spent some time previously at the pew. He looks towards the far side, deep corner of the end zone. It is incomplete. Looking for Kivani Moore.
I really like Coach Tadaro's offensive scheme. He may not have the one guy, but putting the 2 guys together that he has really given him a chance. And they might be 2-3, but they're a much better football team than the 2-3 record. That's for sure.
Maryvale will continue the season at Dunkirk next Friday, and then hosting Albion to close out the regular season on the 24th. Now facing 2nd and 10. Gersdorfer Bigger pardon, Woods on the QB keeper. He is brought down hard by DeAndre Gatson. Gatson, the junior linebacker, on the stop.
That's the first we've heard his name tonight, and that was a big play by him when they needed it. The use of the motion has been pulling the linebackers out, and Coach Tadaro's been using the motion pretty successful all night here, getting the matchups that he wants in the inside run game. That was the first time you've seen a linebacker stay home, and that is a great job by that young man.
Under 5 minutes to play. 3rd and 9 for Maryvale. Quick rollout. Woods makes his way upfield, spins close to the 15, and then he is brought down. The whistle's coming in before the tackle was made. Up to the 16 goes Woods.
Good job there, spinning out. Little play that you probably could have seen earlier in the evening, but the effort just of Maryvale down here, I'd love to see them get something done here. Get in the end zone. Get in the end zone. Come on. Take it down to the last second here.
4th and 4. Kursdorfer in the shotgun. And before we get a snap, a stoppage on the field with 3:57 to play. Quickly recapping our scoring for those just tuning in here on Thursday Night Lights. The Lackawanna Steelers had the big play from Mekhi Scott from 48 yards out, a fumble recovery going down the Maryvale sideline to give Lackawanna the first score. The 2-point run was good for an 8-0 lead. And then Nassim Dali with a 27-yard score with just over 9 minutes left in the second. Another 2-point conversion good. Lackawanna now up 16-0. Miners, stay tuned later tonight for the post-game interview and the trophy presentation. Tonight's the Law Office of William Attar Thursday Night Lights trophies are designed by Southtown's Trophy. Scott Pilkey will go down and talk to the winning coach and players. What a great shot of that trophy once again. So 3:57 to go. 4th and 4. Kursdorfer in the shotgun. Looks towards his left, rolls to his right, butts up the throw. It is intercepted by Lackawanna, but there is a flag on the field. Holding penalty against Maryvale.
And guess who? Nassim I don't want to interrupt.
Holding, number 73. That's refused. First down.
So the interception from Maryvale. Pressure from Nassim Dali. Able to cause the interception. Kurt Stevens in on the action too. Orlando Taylor III also in on that stop.
That might be your stop of the day. That's a tremendous play. Gives his team an opportunity to run the clock down.
So with 3:48 to go, the Lackawanna offense returns to the field. Still some time left. Maryvale also with 2 timeouts left as another quick handoff up the middle. Goes Lackawanna to the 20-yard line. Another carry that time for Dolly. Second and 4 at the 21. Thanks again for tuning in tonight. I'm Joe Kraus. Well, it's Scott Pilkey Lackawanna taking on Maryvale.
Hats off to that sophomore, Adrian Garcia, tonight, stepping in and doing what he needed to do to, give his team this opportunity. Still 3 minutes left. A lot can happen in 3 minutes, but if they get one first down, that's pretty much going to be it.
So timeout was called by Lackawanna. And now it's time for our school bus stop of the game. Always stop for a school bus when the stop arm is out and the red lights are flashing. Not stopping or trying to beat the stop arm puts lives at risk and can result in large fines, points on your license, and license suspension.
Top of the game. Always remember to stop when the school bus arm is out.
Mackay Scott with the scoop and score here. Scott going all the way from midfield, able to take this to the house.
Just a great effort by this young man all night long. He's the difference maker on this football team.
So Mackay Scott with that big run, and that is once again
the school bus stop of the game. Always remember to stop when the school bus arm is out.
Big play from Mackay on second down as this goes to the outside. Timeout was called at the end of the play by the Maryvale Flyers. So, Scott, we got under 3 minutes left. I know you're going down in a couple of moments here, but I'll ask you, if you're Lackawanna and Maryvale, how do you assess this? Where does the season go from here, especially for the Steelers still in the hunt?
Well, I think just not having your top player and getting out a very, very competitive home game, Maryvale has done a great job tonight to maintain their momentum. I think they grew as a team tonight. A young team. Coach Tadaro just isn't looking at tonight. He's looking at this week and down the line at the future. And they have a really good football team in the next year or so. But I think Lackawanna clearly has some things they have to consider. They got to find a guy to replace Michael Moore, because Michael Moore is literally their entire offense. And without him, they've been a solid football team. They're doing what they have to do, which is the sign of a good football team. Getting out of the night tonight with a win. You can't take anything away from their defense. Right now they're posting a shutout. So getting out of here with nobody hurt, and then you see this.
Here's a big run for Dolly, past midfield to the 40, and shoved out of bounds just shy of the 30-yard line. Carter Woods on the tackle all the way to the Maryvale 33 went Nassim Dolly with 2:44 to go. Big run for the senior Nassim Dolly. As we take a look again, you see the speed that we have watched all night tonight from the Steelers' leading rusher going past midfield and then finally shoved out. One of the longest runs of the night for either team. So they'll now bring up 1st and 10 for Lackawanna. Already up 16-0. Lackawanna hosting Depew next Saturday at 2 p.m. in the Steel City. And then week 8 at Olean on the 24th.
Prior to the snap, offense number 51, false start.
The regular season finale for Lackawanna at Olean at 7 p.m. on October 24th. Long ways to go before the Section 6 postseason begins. Mentioned about Lackawanna posting 8 wins 2 years ago, 9 wins last season. They're getting knocked out of the sectional playoffs early. It was just 3 years ago the Steelers won the sectional title and went all the way to the state semis as another short run is stopped down. 3 years ago, the final year under head coach Adam Tarndeff, who spent nearly 25 years with the program. Marcus Rivers was the offensive coordinator the first 7 seasons before he took over as head coach. Rivers still calling the plays as well, as a timeout was taken. And we'll step aside as well for our final break. Lackawanna leading Maryvale 16-0. We'll be right back here on My TV Buffalo. And welcome back, winding down in Cheektowaga, New York, Maryvale High School. Here's the handoff. Makai Scott on the carry, and the Flyers able to make the quick stop. And we have another timeout on the field. So both teams without timeouts for the last 2 minutes and 22 seconds. Second and 15 coming up. So Maryvale has called its third and final timeout. Well, we did some research early on for those wondering why Maryvale is called the Flyers. When Maryvale first began play in the late 1940s through the 1970s, they were named the Flyers due to the school's proximity to the Buffalo Niagara International Airport. And then from the 1950s through the 1970s, the school mascot was actually Snoopy from the Peanuts comic strip, the Red Baron. That was the original mascot. And then heading into the 1981 school year, the students, they voted on what the mascot would be, and they returned to the Pegasus mascot that you are seeing right now on the football field. But that is how Maryvale got its name. Lackawanna, of course, the connection with Bethlehem Steel, named the Steelers, as this will bring up 2nd and 17. And now some movement in the trenches. Waiting for the call from our referee, Michael Binkowski.
To the snap. Encroachment. Defense.
So encroachment against the Maryvale defense. Ball now spotted on the 35-yard line, setting up 2nd and 17. Check that 2nd and 12 here. Down marker on the far side of the field, though, is indicating that it is 3rd down. So 3rd and 12 coming up with 2:22 to play. And now we have some more whistles. Timeout was called, but it doesn't appear that Lackawanna did not have any timeouts left. And now we're set to resume play as Lackawanna taking a knee, but now we have more flags.
To the snap. False start. Offense. 5-yard. Nick.
False start penalty against Lackawanna. And now Maryvale head coach Nick Todaro wants an explanation. Lengthy discussion between Mike Binkowski and Nick Todaro. Todaro, a lot of experience at the high school coaching level, including with the Canisius Crusaders back in 2019. Had a lengthy run with Hutch Tech as well. Still a lot of discussion. 4th and 17 coming up for Lackawanna. And now a further delay on the field, and now the entire officiating crew is coming to discuss this. Right now it's 4th and 17. Correction, 3rd and 17. Change was made on the field. Now the marker has been changed to 4th. And based on the movement of personnel, it is 4th down. Makai Scott is back to punt this for Lackawanna. 2 men are back for Maryvale. Here's a snap. Couple of bounces. And then the Steelers slide to make it. So Maryvale will take the field. Looked like it was almost blocked by Maryvale, who returns with 2:11 left to play in the 4th quarter. Mentioned a lot about the rivalry between Lackawanna and Maryvale over the years. Close victory for Lackawanna back in 1994 on opening day. 31-27 the final. Maryvale had a big run with head coach Gary Braun back in the early 1990s. 100 wins at the helm. Also led the Flyers to their only sectional championship back in 1985 for the Class AA title. As Maryvale takes over, 1st and 10 on the 32. Pass to the outside. A short gain, a big tackle. On that tackle was Hill McLaughlin. And now a flag after the play.
Personal foul, blindside block, defense, number 11.
So a blindside block at the end of the play helps Maryvale make its way close to midfield. They're over midfield and all the way to the Lackawanna 48-yard line. 1st and 10, under 2 minutes of play. Maryvale looking for a score in front of its home crowd. The short pass, Kurzdorfer able to connect with Finnegan. Past the 45-yard line to the 43. Gets in on the stop. Maryvale to the Lackawanna 42. Called a 2nd and 4 here as Kurzdorfer in the shotgun. Wobbly pass and incomplete. James Redd, the intended receiver on the play. James Redd coming into tonight's contest with a team-high 7 catches, along with 156 yards and 2 touchdowns. He caught both of them against East Aurora Holland back in week 3. As Nick Todaro makes the next play selection. And this will bring up 3rd and 4 for the Flyers at the Lackawanna 42. Maryvale going right to left in the second half. Here is the snap. Gersdorfer rolling to his right. The short pass. It's complete to Dominic Daly, who gets wrapped around past the 40 to about the 38-yard line. Daly with the big catch here for the Maryvale Flyers. Ball is spotted on the 39 here. Going to be 4th and 1. Gersdorfer in the shotgun. Here's the snap. Gersdorfer looking down the near sideline. One-on-one with Red, but it is incomplete. DeAndre Jones in on the coverage for Lackawanna. This now brings up a turnover on downs, and Lackawanna returns to the field with its offense with 59 seconds to go. Kurt Stevens Jr. giving high fives to his teammates after the Steelers are able to force another turnover on downs by the Maryvale Flyers. But as Scott mentioned early on, Maryvale, the good fight, getting those opportunities. They'll hit the road to Dunkirk next week. And then come back here to Cheektowaga in week 8 against Albion. But the Lackawanna Steelers still in the hunt in the Section 6 Class B postseason. 59 seconds away from moving to 4-2 on the season and 4-1 in the B2 division. Two big scoring plays that dictated the rest of the night. Mackay Scott, the 48-yard scamper, scoop and score in the first quarter. Then Nassim Dolly from 27 yards out in the second. So we're down to the last 30 seconds of action. Both teams needed some time to adjust early on, some 3-and-outs and punts, and then Lackawanna was able to get those two big scores. Nick Todaro will head back to the drawing board for next week with Maryvale, but for Lackawanna, head coach Marcus Rivers, now 21-4 in his young career as the head coach of the Steelers. 3rd year at the helm, and our final score tonight, Lackawanna defeats Maryvale 16-0. We'll be right back with our post-game report. You're watching the Thursday Night Lights presented by the law office of William Matar and Stellar Roofing. And welcome back to Cheektowaga, New York. The law office of William Mattar's Thursday Night Lights presented by Stellar Roofing. The Lackawanna Steelers moved to 4-2 on the year with a 16-0 win against Maryvale. Let's send it down to Scott Pilkey with head coach Marcus Rivers.
Coach Rivers, great game tonight. You guys hung in there tough, secured a shutout. Tell me what the key was for you guys tonight.
Like I said, we was on our third-string quarterback. I mean, congrats to Adrian Garcia for getting his first one. The team rallied around him, and we just, like I said, we was going to run the ball today and just play a standout defense. Thanks to Coach Mao and our coaching staff for getting our defense together.
Well, Coach, congratulations tonight. Here is the William Mattar Thursday Night Lights trophy. Guys, enjoy it. Coach, let's get them a little excited. Move it back up to you. Another great night for us here. Take care, fellas.
Thank you very much, Scott Pilkey. Once again, our final score, Lackawanna moving to 4-2 on the season and 4-1 in the Section 6 Class B2 division. 16-0 the final on the road against the Maryvale Flyers. Big thanks again to our entire crew and my color commentator, Scott Pilkey. Coming to you tonight from Cheektowaga, New York, this is Joe Kraus. Thank you all for tuning in. This is the law office of William Mattar's Thursday Night Lights, presented by Stellar Roofing. And once again, before you turn the dial, we'll be back in action on October 23rd, Thursday, starting at 7 p.m. The Newport Lancers take on the South Park Sparks.
All of us would like to take a moment to thank the wonderful sponsor partners, William Mattar, Stellar Roofing, Aesthetic Associates Center, and the University of Buffalo, who through their contributions to the program make these games possible for you viewers at home. We'd also like to thank our other great sponsor supporters for their contributions to our 2025 Thursday Night Lights telecasts. And we especially like to thank tonight's participating high schools and their administrators for their continued support.